I always look in the mirror and visualize that person in front of me. That's like fully max level, like a game character, like the version of yourself in like 5 years. What can I do today? When I wake up, what can I do today to get closer to that person? Financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, like in all single types of ways. And if you go in that approach, when you really go in war with the man in the mirror, you really go in war with the man you're basically battling with, I think that's beautiful, man. And that man is hard to beat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Aziz, Samuel Abdul Aziz Bubaus. I'm the CEO and founder of the whole Wealth Group, from Wealth Consulting to Wealth Corporate to Wealth Estate. And today we have a special guest here with Difaino. He's 22 years old and makes 5 million revenue with e-commerce per month, which is still insane for me. So I'm really looking forward to this episode. And I say, welcome, Difaino. And I'm here, obviously, with my team, Donald again, Donald Trump look. He will give us a lot of interesting metaphors today. And we have Vincent on my right side. And these guys are talking to our clients every single day in our client success team. So especially Vincent was already in contact with Difaino. And I remember the first call that I had with Difaino. I think I said 5 million revenue. You know, it took me almost 8 years to make 2 million revenue in e-commerce. And he said, oh, bro, that's a long time. And I think, fuck off, really. So really looking forward today to hear your story.
Yeah. Walaikum salam, first of all. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and pleasure being here. And yeah, I remember that call. It was a great call. It was a good time to meet you guys. And obviously, we have a great partnership going on for a long time right now. And yeah, 5 million revenue. Obviously, it seems like it's very easy, and it came very easy. But it's been a tough ride. I've been in this game for about 6-7 years almost, and walked against many walls, I would say. I made many mistakes, fell on my face many times, but I don't think you should shade away from that. And that's what acknowledged me. That's what made me the man I am today. And that's how I came to this point. First, before we start, I brought a little present for you guys. I never come empty-handed. My mom teach me that thing to always bring something.
It's insane. I already thought all the time, what are you doing with this bags? Yeah, next level.
Thanks a lot.
Was already worth it to invite you today.
I'm getting
Guys,
many podcast invites lately.
That's the advantage when you have rich friends, you know. It's even like, look,
Looks nice.
this.
Yeah?
It's
suit
perfect.
you well, for sure.
Thank you, brother.
Nice.
Next level. Thank you, bro.
Enjoy it, bro. Enjoy it.
So, you started e-commerce 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still super young. You're super successful. How did this happen? Like, how did you realize back then, with this young age,
Yeah.
okay, there's a big opportunity, a big chance. Obviously, you saw something there where you took advantage of it. Like, maybe you can explain a little bit about that.
I think it first started with the obsession of money. That I always saw these supercars driving around. Not that often in my old city, of course, but
Where
I
you
started.
from?
I'm from the Netherlands, close to Amsterdam. So it's a small city, it's a small town, nothing too special. A lot of farmers there, so it's not too big. But I always started doing the maths. Hey, how do these people afford these cars? How are these big houses? How do people actually afford that? I started doing the maths, and I started realizing very quick by a regular job that is literally impossible if you really do the maths. And then I just started realizing, hey, there is something bigger in this life. There's something people know that I don't know. Otherwise, everyone will be driving these supercars around, right? I always was obsessed by that feeling, like, okay, people are actually making money. This thing is real. I just need to find out the secret these people know and I don't know. And that obsession started very young. I was 14, 15, while people was focusing on girls and all that other stuff. I was just reading books, going through YouTube. I was like adapting so much, as much knowledge as I possibly could, basically. When I was young, I always went window shopping, like to crazy car dealerships, Rolex stores. I was like asking questions. How does this? How much is that? And how do people afford? Like I was always trying to, get my knowledge up. So that obsession came very young, and then I just started doing my knowledge. Hey, how can I actually get that money? And online, hey, what do I actually want? Do I want that financial freedom? Do I want that location freedom? And what do I want? So, of course, you start Googling, hey, how to make money online, blah, blah, blah. But this is 2018 we are talking about. It's not like, okay, you Google it now and you see all these sorts of shortcuts and everything. There are just a few YouTubers out there at the time that just started spreading knowledge and this and that. Started doing some knowledge big time. All the free time I had went into just spreading out YouTube videos, reading books, going into marketing and just asking questions and everything about that. And I started off with actually starting a brand, an e-commerce brand. At the time, I didn't know what e-commerce even was, so I opened up a brand. Because this was the time that, I don't know if you guys remember, like TikTok was super new. It has like this transition of, I think it was called Musical.ly or something. And TikTok was super trendy, super trendy. And there were loads of influence and creators just blowing up on the channel and blah, blah, blah. And I just thinking, okay, how can I monetize this trend? How can I actually make money of this? And what I found out is that loads of creators on this platform were women. Like women just dancing around and getting millions and millions of views. I was like, okay, I need to make money of these people in some sort of way because eyeballs is directly linked to money, basically, right?
Exactly.
So I came up with a beauty product, something very cheap. I ordered it of Alibaba, and I just sent these products out to some of these creators that are just in my school, like these women classmates, basically, and they started promoting the product. And literally, it was just a one-hit wonder. Like, it just hit. It just started flying off the shelves. It started going crazy. I was a one-man business. I was my own fulfillment center. I was my own bookkeeper. I was my own store designer. Everything that I was doing by myself. My mom started helping me. She was like the beneficiary of my business because I was underage. I was like 15, 16. And it just started doing very, very well from there. I done it for over a year and actually wanted to quit it because the fulfillment was too much. So every single day.
So you send out these products by yourself back then?
Yeah, but I had no logical sense to even run ads. I had no logical sense to hire a fulfillment center. I was so stupid. I was just unknown. I didn't know this e-com thing is actually a thing like people actually do. I was just like, okay, it's my side hustle. And at the time, that's how I was thinking
just
about
sell some products.
Yeah, that was how it was. I didn't pay tax. Like,
and you are right. Like, there was not that much content out there. I mean, now you can go to YouTube, how to start a business, how to start e-commerce. There's a bunch of videos out there. Yeah. But also I remember when I was Googling back then, like 8-9 years ago, how to start a business and stuff, there was just no content.
I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I remember that I just opened up Klaviyo for an email campaign. I don't know what I was doing, but there was some sort of template. I launched it. I was like, how... I invented light. I was like, oh, what? Because now you just look up a YouTube tutorial and you find it right there. But for me, it was like, you have to learn it by doing it. And that was very, very fun, very knowledgeable. At the time, there was lockdown as well, so I didn't have to go to school and blah, blah, blah. I just started packing my orders. At the time, I sold the brand for a very small amount. I wouldn't really consider it an exit. But that gave me some capital, obviously, with the money I saved up as well, to invest in some knowledge, mentorships, courses, and this and that. So that's what I done for a very long period of time. And then the big doors opened for me, the massive doors. And then I started learning about dropshipping. Now I don't have to do my own fulfillment.
No need to sell
now
it
I
out
can
again.
run ads. Now I can really start doing like what I'm doing, but just on steroids. And it just went crazy. I remember the first lockdown, everyone had to stay home. Everyone was panicking. Like the word, like the cough was still new. So everyone was like scared. So what I started doing is selling this home fitness gear. These resistance bands, these push-up boards. I don't know if you guys have seen the ads. But
during the COVID time, it was crazy.
Those were my ads. Like, I scaled these crazy. So I was 17 and I done my first 900K month just like that after the first 3 months of launching that store. And I felt like a boss. I felt like I invented the wheel. I'm going to do this like times 10. I'm going to be rich when I'm 18 years old. I was looking at Lamborghinis. I was balling. I was feeling like I was the boss. I had the biggest ego of anyone. I was still going to school because my mom wouldn't let me quit at the time. And I was just looking at my dashboard and what's happening. It was just crazy. And then at some point I went to my mom, hey, I want to quit school. I was so scared to be whooped. And she was like, yeah, you quit. You're doing good, you know, and that was good. So then after these big doors opened, I had many failures, many walls I walked against it because I was still a one-man business. I still didn't learn how to run a business, and then it's when you struggle with customer experience. Obviously, the delays with shipping times, payment processors not being happy, and that's when I really over-leverage a bit of credit as well with TikTok, with suppliers, with Facebook, and all that stuff. So that's when I got into a little trouble and a little debt after being having that big ego, and I learned my lesson by that. But it took me some time to recover from that and started scaling back up again. So that's how it all started, basically.
It's nice. Let's maybe start like from zero. How did you grow up? Like, where are your parents from? How did they teach you?
Yeah.
And maybe where does the original motivation come from? Because normally everybody, if you go back to the childhood, you can find something, you know? Let's say for me, I was just annoyed not having money. How was it for you? Like, how did you grow up? How was it parents-wise? And what was the original motivation?
Yeah. So I never grew up with a father figure in the first place, which I never really was affected by in any single way. But my mom was very, very young when she got me. She was 17 years old when she got me, having no income, having no study, having no work. And we are from a very strict family. So I don't want to, it's basically more of my mom's story, you know, but she was basically all by herself in that single case. So we were always depending on the government and what of commissions and, you know, support we got from them and what we were able to eat from, basically. But we had a very difficult come up in that way. A difficult come up in a way that my mom was struggling, but she always makes sure I didn't see the struggle, which that's why I praise my mom big time now. Now I found success. And that was my main drive because I had literally the checklist to fail. Like all my teachers were telling me this. My mom had to go to school every single week. I was a problem. I was doing some weird stuff at young ages. I was being with wrong people. I came from a neighborhood that wasn't that nice because I grew up in a big city before. Before we moved to another village, we moved because of me being a trouble kid. And I was going down the line crazy. Just my environment was really bad. I had the checklist to fill. My mom was young. We didn't have money at the time. My mom was just studying. I never seen my mom work when I grew up because she was studying because she wanted to put us in a better position. Mm-hmm. Like finish that study, get that degree, and find a nice job so she can, you know, help support the family basically. But she still was making sure we went on holidays. Like all my friends were going to Spain, like these crazy. We went to Macedonia, like all these crazy countries, you know, but for me, it was no difference. For me, it was still a vacation. It was still a holiday, you know. Mm-hmm. I still saw a beach. It wasn't Spain, but it was still a beach, you know. It wasn't Dubai or anything like that, but I still saw these crazy locations. And I'm always super grateful and thankful for my mom, like putting me in that position of me not feeling I'm coming too short. Even though I already knew in the back of my head, she's struggling. She's heavily struggling, but she always put that basically mask on her face for me to not see it. So we have seen some massive struggles. Like it's been a very long story, but she always made sure I never come too short. And that's why I always have that fire inside of me from a young age. Like, okay, no, what you're doing for me right now, Mom, I'm going to do that back for you times 100, times 1,000. Like I want to make sure you don't come too short because that's the position she put me in. So now it's reversed. I have a very weird approach with that. I don't really look up to people or have idols in that single way. But what I learned myself from a very young age is that I always look up to the man in the mirror. I always look in the mirror and visualize that person in front of me that's like fully max level, like a game character, like the version of yourself in like 5 years, you would say, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, what can I do today? When I wake up, what can I do today to get closer to that person? Financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, like in all single types of ways, right? And if you go in that approach, when you really go in war with the man in the mirror, you really go in war with the man you're basically battling with, I think that's beautiful, man. And that man is hard to beat. Like any idol, any people you can look up to, is no competition, man. I want to battle against myself because I know what I'm capable of, you know? So that's what really drives me and pushes me every single day because that man is hard to beat.
That's right. That's great.
Yeah, I really believe that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. And I will give you an example. Like the first person that climbed up the Mount Everest, crazy. Like it was something that's unrealistic. That's something huge, right? Now people do it every day, multiple times. in backwards. Children do it. Old people do it. Now it's nothing anymore. Sometimes you need that confirmation that something is actually possible. You're actually capable of doing things, and that's gonna basically allow your mind to believe it. Same thing with Usain Bolt. He broke the record of whatever type of sprint, right? First time, a few years back. Now people break it every day because your mind allows it to do that. Your mind allows it to get to that achievement, to get to that trophy, to get to that target, right? But I always wanted to be the crazy one that breaks it first, that breaks that barrier of your mind not being able to achieve it. Think of what your mind can achieve and just go beyond that, go bigger than that. You want to be the crazy one that just psycho and like want to achieve it first, something that's incapable. Because now it's 5M a month, which sounds crazy to some of you, but I know people that are doing 50 a month. So I know I'm capable of that. I'm looking at these persons. You are stupid. I'm smarter than you. I can outcompete you.
Yeah, that's a really good mindset. You also said that it wasn't an easy ride, right? Until this point, it was a bumpy ride. You had challenges. What were like the most or the biggest, the main challenges in the past years you were facing with building your e-commerce businesses, your brands?
Maybe I took things at always maximum risk. Calculated risk doesn't exist for me. I always want to go all in and nothing less than that. And yeah, that's gonna make you fall on your face a few times. But I never look back at it and regret things, because every time I fell on my face, it's another lesson. It's another cookie jar. You know, the cookie jar is another cookie in a jar. Like, okay, another lesson inside that book, inside that journey. That's gonna make you a bigger, better person. Like struggle builds a lot of personality in that case. So I never back down from failing, or never back down from making mistakes or falling on my face. I think you should always be a student of life, and failing is gonna give you the biggest lessons. Like, you can learn from other people's failures and whatever and mistakes, but you're gonna learn it when you make that mistake, because I know things I shouldn't be doing, but I made the mistake myself, and that's gonna make me give you the biggest lesson. Same thing with over leveraging. I was in 300,000 euros debt when I was 18, 19.
What exactly happened back then?
I had TikTok accounts on credit, ad accounts. It was 25,000 euro each account. I had multiple accounts. You can pay in 60 days. I started seeing profit. What did I do? You scale.
All in.
Suppliers, on credit, you pay in 60 days. Just scale and make sure we can keep on track with that. Now, then you don't get a payout because your customers are not happy. And then it's a little trouble.
Dicey, a cash flow problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. It's you need to go through this experience by yourself, because the things that you repeat, I have the same examples of my life, of course.
Yeah.
I think also some of these failures, when you do them the first time, they are hard for you. And the second time you already don't care anymore, because now you would think 300k debt, so no what, it's nothing, you know? But at this time, when you're younger and it's the first time, you think like, you know, you're game over at this moment. And I think after some time you also get numb.
My team always says the same thing, like, how are you so stress tolerant? They don't know what I've been through.
No
I'm
other way, bro.
This is nothing. I'm just the beginning, just a warm up. Like, it's gonna make you stress tolerant. It's gonna make you stress proof, and just being able to handle more of your shoulders, which I think is a very good capability to have for sure.
That's right.
100%. Seeing these opportunities and taking advantage of them. Like, always be one step ahead of the competition. You know, I always scream and embarrass the competition, but that's all we do. Always be one step ahead. You want to be the first one that climbs the Mount Everest, you know? I think that approach is going to take you further. You want to be the leader, the visionary, and that always helps me doing it.
It was funny. We had the first call when you reached out to us.
Yeah.
Back then, what was the reason that you contacted us, and how did you found us back then?
So at the time, I think we were doing 3.3 to 4 million in revenue already monthly, which a lot of it is on monthly recurring, on subscription offers. And I really believe in positioning. So I always ask the question, hey, you want to scale up your brand, you want to scale up this, but are you positioned in a way that you can actually add a zero behind that number right now? And most of the answer is no. Do you have the content for it? Do you have the systems for it? Do you have the backend for it? Because I've been out of business in 24 hours before with dropshipping. Oh, you get one email, Shopify, payments account disabled, you know, and then you're out of business. Facebook ad account disabled, out of business.
That's what I always say. It's like one thing and you can't do business on the next day.
You get a lawsuit, you get a DMCA, out of business. And I really believe in positioning yourself in a way that you can actually achieve your targets, you know? So I came to you guys to position myself in a way to optimize my backend, to optimize my payment structure, my tax system, my banking accounts. So I cannot be positioned in literally losing everything in 24 hours.
What made you realize back then that you need a better foundation, that you need a better setup overall in those topics like payment provider, banking, and so on to scale? How did you realize that?
Learning the hard way, listening to feedback, being very honest to yourself. I think people, they really neglect that. They have big of an ego and don't be honest to yourself. There's never a perfect case scenario. There's never a perfect business. There's always weaknesses and always some place that need a plaster on it because it's just leaking, right? And I saw that. I saw some positions in my business that just were missing. That needs some plasters. So sometimes you need to just set your ego aside and let the experts do their thing. I'm a big believer in allocating. For example, we run big time on Google Ads. I've never in my life touched an AdSense account before. Never in my life. But you can allocate those brains and meld them together. Allocate to experts. Get them in your business. Buy brain, literally. Buy people inside your business so you can optimize for things and utilize those brains, utilizing other people's time and energy. That's really where the value is. It's just a matter of having the experts in the right position and also positioning yourself. Basically create that spider web of just experts and killers to level up your business. I think we live in a day of age that e-com is aligned to basically people focusing on first acquisition. Having the highest ROAS, never seeing a customer again and just scaling that way. That's not the case. Scaling up a business is not just increasing ad budget. I was thinking the same thing and that's why everything fell down on me. I learned that the hard way again, right? But scaling a business is really actually building a business, right? I've been working in retail before when I was younger. I've been working in this sneaker store, this and that. And I was so surprised when I saw that daily revenue. 2 or 3 months later, I did 10x on my online store as a one-man business. And that retail store had 12 people working there, had rent to pay, had inventory to pay, had all the risk and everything, you know? On a rainy day, there's no one walking around. You don't make revenue. On online store, it's way different, right? But how can I build my store in a way that I still have the same sustainability as these retail stores, as these big companies? You're not building a store, you're building a company. These two words are totally different from each other. And that's what people they really underestimate. So I always believed in e-com as like a pyramid. And people, they don't climb up the pyramid. They stay on the lowest level, which is level 5, which is just dropshipping, just scaling a store. But the level beyond that is actually going long term, like branding, having a message, having actually a value to propose to. Because if you look at these big brands like Gymshark or whatever type of brand you have in your mind, Nike or wherever, they don't focus on first acquisition. Gymshark will already be bankrupt if they only sell 1 unit orders and never get to return a customer again, you know? And that's what people are still focusing on e-com, which is funny. Like some people just forget to level up and just don't climb. And that's the biggest mistake.
Yeah, and it's also the only way if you want to have sustainable 5 million, 10 million revenue per month. It's not working with this dropshipping mindset. Because overall, only if you build a real brand, we said that we don't want to talk about our brands because they're secret. We don't want to have competition here. It's not a joke. But overall, only if you build a real brand long term, you can take over and get this stability, because then you can buy all the other brands in the same niche. You can buy websites and blogs about these topics, which are affiliates for your brands. You can just do everything. Finding affiliates is much easier if you have the best brand in this sphere, while if you don't have a brand, it's difficult to get good affiliates, you know? Like these things are crucial if you want to have a sustainable 7, 8, 9-figure business.
We are focused on selling subscriptions. That comes back on not focusing on first acquisition, what I just told you. Because I can have a CPA of $50 on a $30 order, but my customer is worth $500 in a year, you know? Embarrassed competition. I can outskill anyone and everyone because my brand is on a way different perspective and in a way different way built in that way, you know? And by climbing up that pyramid again, on a subscription offer, if you really build that longevity, not focusing on first acquisition, building and focusing on that LTV, lifetime value of a customer, that's when you get these big valuations where you can actually sell companies. And that's what we done, you know? And that's the position you want to be in, and that's the higher level in the pyramid.
What would you say defines a shop which is actually like becoming a brand over time, besides a shop which is only a shop and when the ads are off, there's no revenue anymore? What's the main difference between those, and how do I build a brand in e-commerce, for example?
Well, you should really not look in a way like, hey, I'm an e-com guy or I'm a dropshipper. No, you're a marketeer. You're literally selling an emotion. You're not selling a product. Why is your product selling? Is it because of confidence? Is it because of what's in your emotion, right? You buy Louis Vuitton not because of the product or the fabric. You buy Louis Vuitton because of the confidence and the message Louis Vuitton is going to give you. That's branding. And that's longevity for you. So you're becoming a marketeer, not just basically building your store on a product. That's the worst thing, because that's going to fall down at some point. We have seen saturated products, right? Have you ever seen saturated emotions? Human brains don't work like that. So you really play with people's emotions. You lie to people that want to be lied to. And that's how you sell.
How do I sell an emotion instead of just selling a product?
Understanding your buying persona. Understanding who is actually visiting your store. So for example, you can sell a regular t-shirt, but you can sell a regular t-shirt in 100 different ways. What if I go to the gym? Okay, I rake some random gym dude, right? What are his insecurities? What are his problems? What are his different awareness stages I can sell to? What are his emotions when purchasing? Because he goes to a Zara and buys a t-shirt with a different emotion than you do. Right?
Yeah.
You buy a t-shirt or whatever because you look good in this suit. But he buys it because he has problems with sweating. Or he's trying to find extra confidence in his arms because he goes to the gym every day. So the better you understand your buying persona, the easier it is to sell to them, because you understand their brain. Because you're playing with someone's brain, and that's actually how it goes. So we don't focus on just selling a product. We focus on selling the emotion first. And the offer itself, the product itself, is irrelevant.
What I wanted to come back to is, how did you found us back then? Like, how did you come in touch with us?
A lot of word of mouth, a lot of acknowledge of humans and people. I think Samuel has the same thing, that you can just, you talk to someone and you directly know if this guy's legit or not. And I had a good feeling with you guys. You obviously have a good track record. This e-com space is very small. So easy come, easy go. You guys have been around for some time. I had some great testimonials from some other people in the industry. You guys have some big clients as well, some whale clients. And obviously that's going to push you over, and I never regret that. So we've done some great business in the past, and we definitely continue doing that.
Have you been skeptical before you became a client? And if yes, what were like the thoughts you maybe had before, or you just were like, okay, no, this will work 100%, I just go for it?
Normally I'm more like, risk it for a biscuit. Yeah. But in this case, it was about a lot of money. Obviously, with the processing and the banking, it's a lot of wires and a lot of inbound transfers and this and that. So obviously you are a bit skeptical and a bit slow with it in that case. But it's the trust is there. Like there's full transparency. There's nothing to be really afraid of or be worrying about. And once the trust is there, it's a long-term business. And I really believe in businesses where it's a win-win situation for everyone involved. That's why my business fell down a few years back, because there was no win-win for everyone. The customers were all like, they were losing. And the best businesses are the businesses where there's a win-win for everyone. And that was the case in this scenario. So it only makes sense. And that's why it's a long-term relationship out of this, which I'm obviously very thankful for.
What made you make this decision to say, okay, this sounds really good to me, this sounds reasonable, I trust this guys, let's go for that?
Well, I tested you guys a bit without you knowing it. I always try to do some due diligence and do a background check, of course, but I also try to manipulate some brains here and there. So I done some tests, but like putting money in certain locations where it's easy accessible, and you guys passed it. So that's just my proof of way to really see if I can actually trust someone, because any other dork will take it. But you guys are here for the long term. That's what told me, okay, these guys are legit. They know what they're doing. And you guys have the track record. You guys have the testimonials. You guys have the checklist done, basically. Yeah. And coming back to that situation, that position where it's a win-win for everyone, it would have made sense, you know? So if I'm scaling, you guys are scaling. And that's the perfect way to do it.
What would you say were the biggest points that surprised you when we were starting working together, and what were the things that helped you the most, like, since we working together?
The capabilities. I was like, is that possible? What the fuck?
Most of the people, they come to the call and I tell them, look, this is what we can do for you. This is the investment, this is how we can start. And they're like, well, I can't, I really want that. I really want that. It's perfect. It's exactly what I need and what I want. But I'm not sure if this is really possible. So you made that experience, right? That it is really possible.
I don't know how in depth we can talk about the services I took from you guys.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, but even like the credit opportunities we've got right now, which even, of course, the exit that they give us a lot of credit and it give us a lot of cash flow because on Amazon income is cash flow, but also the credit opportunities you guys gave us that helps us scaling. We have a lot of Amex Platinum cards now, guys. So very thankful for that, of course. And obviously even the investment opportunities we're having right now. Maybe not that good and smart to talk about that a lot of in depth, but we're going to real estate now together here in Dubai. And there are some big baller investments. So people, they see, now I just bought a new supercar, this and that. But they don't see how I support my mom, how I was able to buy a house for my mom, which you guys are aware of. How I'm just buying houses with you guys, pop, just like that. People on Instagram, they only see the nice cars. He's flexing, he's showing his money, but they don't know I'm always one step ahead. I'm the guy that climbs the Mount Everest first.
And how would you say that getting access to more credit, getting really good high-level bank accounts in the US, getting really solid payment solutions, how would you say that affected your business in the past?
Peace of mind, bro. Peace of mind. We like I told you guys, we had loads of issues with fintech bank accounts.
Yes.
Still, I'm learning Chinese. We had loads of issues with that, just being disabled all the time, money going from here and there, and just spreading everything out. And now I know for a fact with the solution we have right now, I can just have peace of mind. I'm just safe. Even I was scared to go to the airport before, like maybe they're gonna let me pay tax or whatever. Now it's peace of mind. That helps me a lot. Like I'm of course very stress tolerant, but yeah, if it comes back to like the money you worked hard for and being in that PTSD and trauma of what happened before, like losing your money, like that's helping a lot. Like that's also comes back to building a sustainable business and having that back end in place.
How can they, or what are smart things to do to then protect the assets or to increase their wealth and have a good setup there?
I think number one, first to start with it only at the right time, because number one, they should do it like Difaino, first make a lot of money, then build the right infrastructure to make a lot of money stable and to not be worried anymore, because it's something which happens automatically, right? You make more money. In the first years, it's a hype, right? Like you said, you feel like the king. Bro, I remember the first €1,000 per day, you think like, bro, I go to the ATM in Germany to withdraw it and think €1,000, Now when you have less than 1 million on the account, you're paranoid. And that's the issue later on, right? You make more money and you're also more paranoid because like you said, what if my Fintech bank account just takes my money and I have no banking solution? What about taxes? What about payment processing? So I think overall, it's always more important first to take care of these things. And I think we should go also a little bit more in detail. And then later on, you need to build the right structure, right? Like Difaino, moving out of Europe, moving to the UAE, for example, setting up the US LLC, getting the good banking and payment processing. And when you have more money, then step by step, you need to build a good structure, which is, for example, to set up a holding company or a foundation in the UAE or a US trust, which helps you just to protect your assets. Number one, you can buy something for your mother, for example, for yourself to get a golden visa. And then if you want to be protected more, you can set up a foundation here in the UAE or US trust. Why? Because these structures are not just anonymous. These are officially, you're not the official owner. You're just a manager or beneficiary, which means nobody could ever take it from you because you never know. The more business you make, the more risk you have. You can have lawsuits, you can have everything. And the last thing that you want is that somebody can just take it from you. And that's why you need to build a good structure. And then you can buy, for example, in real estate. There are a lot of good ways, obviously.
Maybe you can explain a little bit why those setups make so much sense, like having a trust, having a foundation, and why is it important to look into those when it comes to the next step, when it comes to really building a lot of wealth?
I mean, if you have a little bit of wealth, you can just buy cars, watches, gold, little bit real estate, because it helps you also, obviously. Like I said, you buy real estate here, you have the golden visa. You buy real estate in Thailand, you have tax-free LTR visa, a lot of good things. But if you're really wealthy, I mean, every wealthy person is controlling everything, but they don't own everything, because it doesn't make any sense. Because if you have one lawsuit, they can just take everything from you. So where's the sense? You know, there's absolutely no advantage on a certain point, like having 10 million or more. Then step by step, you need to build different structures. It can be like having a US LLC, just from simple business perspective, because we always have this issue in Europe. Like Difaino said, you have a few lawsuits, a few things there, and this can destroy your business. But now they should start a lawsuit against a US LLC, which is officially not even owned by you. It's more difficult. This is related to your business, related to your assets. I mean, why do you... Imagine now I give you 100 million. Why do you want to have it all at risk? Doesn't make any sense. And that's why every wealthy person has either a trust or a foundation, because otherwise you're not protected. And trusts and foundation work a little bit different, but you can see them either as a contract or like a company, basically. Every single company is to some degree another person. It's not you. You know, it's you, and this is the company, and this is the fund or like the foundation or the trust. These are different entities. And with trusts and foundations, you have the issue they don't have a real owner, basically. So depending, a trust, for example, is just set up by a lawyer, for example, in the US. A foundation here in the UAE is just a completely separate entity. And it's just like a contract. And then there are also differences between, is it a living trust or an irrevocable trust? But it means this is a separate entity. For example, you write down, hey, under this scenario, my child will get this amount of money, or we can do this and this, and nobody can take it from you. Why? Because you already gave your assets to this trust or foundation where you're not the owner anymore. Maybe you have a manager role, beneficiary role, or your son or your family will get it, but they can't take it from you. And that's just asset protection.
You talked about having like 250K, I think, frozen in those accounts, and just like, hey, like, okay, I can like, I don't really know what to do with this, right?
Yeah. I was just stuck there. I was always imagining like, okay, you get rich, you just have a couple 100 million in one bank account, and that's it. You can just spend it, Apple Pay, you can do whatever.
Yes.
And I thought this to Sam, and he was just laughing at me loud. I remember this. So yeah, I was having some issues with fintech banks. I had fintech banks all over the place: Hong Kong, UK, US, everywhere around the world, which was not the best solution. I found out after I had some money stuck there, which I also wasn't able to send anywhere because I was just reopening fintech banks, and then it couldn't be appearing a few 100K in there all of a sudden if it's just newly opened, right? So I was just a little bit concerned and being like, okay, what now? What's next? So then I got in contact with you guys, and now it's all pretty solid. So that comes back in positioning as well. Like whatever you just said, I don't know what it means. And that's why we're working together.
A little bit go back to your structure that you have right now that you had maybe 1 year ago in the past. So originally you grew up in Netherlands. So I think you just had like a small company in Netherlands, and that's it basically, right?
It's just a one-man company basically. And local bank account, that's it.
Okay, when came the point where you said, I need to leave this country? Was it you had issues with taxes, or what was like the point?
You know, we get these blue letters in the post, and that means tax. Yes. So we got these blue letters, and as I told you in the beginning, I was just
don't care, you know,
side job. I didn't care. I was just focused on scaling ads. That's it. Whatever else goes around that doesn't matter. That's some problem for later. So I had these blue letters, and at some point they became blue letters with had capital letters on it, like text.
So
Open
before you
now.
just didn't open the letter?
Open now. I opened it, but I didn't know what it means. So then you still have to pay income tax, all the other tax. We even have tax for the toilet. We even have tax if you have pets. You have tax for everything.
Yes.
We even tax for the roads in our country. So then I realized, okay, this country is not for me. What is the quickest and shortest solution I can do to become tax free? And that's why I learned about Dubai solutions in the UAE. And that's when I moved to Dubai on paper. So I moved to Dubai on paper like 4.5 years ago, which is a long time ago, actually. It's a long time ago. Opened up my first company, and that gave me basically a free pass to be able to not pay tax, be free of income tax. I just go there once every 6 months, and that's it. And I quickly found out that in a Dubai company, you cannot process. You cannot just open a Shopify payments account or a Stripe account, or I didn't know. Yes. I was like, whoa, what's this?
Everybody comes to us, wants a UAE company for e-commerce, you know, and then we need to explain them, okay, look, there are better solution in your case.
Yeah.
I think you faced the same issue. People told you, yeah, no problem, you can do everything. And then you had the company, right? And
I paid a stupid amount for the company at the time. I was so unknown. Now it's like $3,000. At the time, I think I paid 25 for just a free zone company, which didn't make sense at the time at all. But I didn't know. I thought it was just the regular price, right? So then I started trying to open my Stripe account, and I was like, oh, what now? So then I started learning more about offshore companies, Hong Kong, UK, US, all that types of sorts of things, and just link it back to your Dubai company and trying to process in that way. So we always done. We always work with US LLCs, just like you. We done it together well, and done that for a while, for a long time, and it always works right. And I was always like, okay, it's solved in that way, but I'm not sure if it's good or it's just how it's supposed to be, you know. And as soon as you start printing and printing more, you're gonna start getting some concerns. Hey, what if I get that blue letter again in some case? Or what if US comes knocking on my door? Or what if Dubai is be like, yo, you owe me this and that? I never knew. It could happen any single day, right? Just like we spoke about before, like you position yourself, you can be out of business tomorrow. And one text letter could be positioning me in that way, right? So that's why I was a bit concerned and reached out to you guys. Hey, what's going on? What can we do? So it's not only for the banking. It's like creating the perfect position for me to make sure I'm bulletproof.
Okay, and right now, like, where are most of your e-commerce businesses, and to which clients do you sell mostly?
85% US.
Oh, nice. Okay. So it was also step-by-step transition to realize, okay, US is just better and easier.
That's the biggest market.
I would say in Europe, a lot of people are still doing this copy-paste thing and just seeing whatever works from competitors and run it yourself. Try it in the US, you get eaten alive. US is a different game, and it forces you to have a different type of skill level as well. But once you crack US, it's a different game. It's done.
We have clients that make $1 million revenues per month just focusing on one country in Europe. Would you recommend them to also go into the US market as soon as possible because it's just giving so much opportunity, it's just so much bigger, or what would you tell those people?
It wouldn't make sense to not do it. I would say US is a different ballgame, so you should really understand what data means and how you should read it. I always say if you are good at reading data, how can you become unprofitable? Because you can exactly pinpoint what's going well, what's going wrong. You can exactly create a proof of concept and see what you need to focus on, right? So test super aggressively. You cannot just copy paste your funnel into a US market and expect it to print. When we test a product, we test 55 different offers, 150 different pricing points, 10 different angles, 200 different creatives, all sorts of different funnels and pre-landers and headlines. Product. It's like data freak, like it's all systematic and blah, blah, blah. But that's going to position you in a way that you mix and match the right funnels and the right offers and the right pricings against each other and find that proof of concept, that winning concept in a market like that.
And how do you do that? Do you do that by yourself? Do you have a team for that, or how is that working?
It's putting experts in the right places, because I know how to build a website and build a funnel. I know how to make creatives and direct that, but there's loads of people on this planet that are better at me in those type of tasks, right? So, like I said, utilize these people and get them inside your team. And that in that type of way, when it comes back to hiring, we have 78 people right now on a payroll. That's freelancers excluded. That's just payroll full time. It's a house every single month in retainer, you know. But these people, they pay themselves.
Now for the next steps for the asset protection part of it, how would you describe like what makes sense strategically, step by step, to grow wealth, to protect assets, like from such a point where someone is already making good money and profit?
Yeah, I think what we already did now with Difaino is to get better banking, right? So now you don't need to worry anymore. That's number one. Number two is to leverage the US system more soon to get loans and funding, which is just good for acquisitions, for example, to just grow 100%. And I think that's already great that he's mostly in the US market. I think we need to get like some clarity about the setup, that you know, like about the double taxation, that you don't need to worry, just that it's like mentally clear for you. Hey, I don't need to worry about taxes in the future. And then number 4, just to buy more assets, honestly, because what else can you do at this point? You can buy more cars, yes, you can do more acquisitions. And then we just need to buy now more real estate together and then just put it under a trust or foundation at the end of the day.
So how do I buy, for example, real estate without need to worry it, without maintaining that in my mind?
So number 1 is the same like business, right? 99% of people fail in business, 1% is doing it right, and the same is with investments. Also here in Dubai real estate, a lot of people made a lot of money, and a lot of people lost money because of the wrong investments. And even if you make a lot of money, it can take a lot of space in your head. Just imagine now you buy 30 different apartments in different locations and they are not serviced, and you can't hire somehow management because it's all in different countries and locations. Imagine how much time it takes, and then every day you get a phone call. This is broken, this person complains, this person didn't pay. It's a lot of maintenance, so you need to do it strategically. For example, to buy, let's say just here in the UAE in A locations, let's say only invest Saadiyat Island is great. By the way, in 3 days they launch this Mandarin Oriental residences, will be great investment, like I posted last night in the group. The new Palm is, for example, great. Everything beachfront is great because it's safe and stable, and this will continue to go up. And then you just use service residences, for example, like this Mandarin Oriental, because you don't need to worry about anything. Like you don't hear anything from them, you know, just every year you get your check and that's it. We are very easy to maintain. And this you just put under your UAE Foundation. And then, for example, in the future when Difaino is scaling his family, then he can put all his sons, you know, who will get later something, but only if they are already rich, because you can write everything into this foundation. You can, for example, say, only if my son hustles 10 hours per day, and if he achieves this and this when he's 18, he will get this amount of money. If not, then my brother will get it, for example.
500 push-ups, otherwise no.
How can I do that? I write that. How can I make sure that's written down?
Everything like foundations in UAE, trusts in the US, you do this together with lawyers, and they just walk you through this process, and you write down everything. And then who can manage this, who has control, who has no control, and you just write it down, basically.
So it's basically like a playbook, which is writing down all the rules, how this money will be distributed between the beneficiaries of the trust or the foundation, so you can map it all out, basically.
Yeah, and it's important when you have a lot of money. Let's say now I die, you know, what happens then? It's really like messed up, a lot of bank accounts where people don't have logins, you know, and then I have this assets there and there. When you have it under a foundation, you can just write it all down. Okay, if something happens to me, my family members will get this and this amount, this person can control it, or this person can decide. So it's great.
So should I put properties, real estate from my first property already under foundation, or from what amount it makes sense to put it under such a structure?
Number 1, you should get passports and residencies in different countries around the world. For example, easiest, let's say, because the issue is right now, we are all from Europe, right? And you have this European citizenship. And even if you have residency here in UAE, that's why people still have this mindset it's not forever, you know, because they don't have a passport here. And everything is tied to this European citizenship. So one step should be to get a new citizenship, because with this new citizenship, you can own companies and have broker accounts and own real estate. Easy ways, for example, Turkey. It's not the best passport, but we just buy real estate, 400,000 euro, and you have a citizenship in 2 months. It's great. Number 2, of course, UAE, because you buy something, you get a golden visa, and you have golden visa. It's much better than the regular visa that you have. You can do the same in a lot of countries. Thailand is still great because now you have the LTR visa, which gives you official tax exemption on all your money from outside of Thailand. It's still a great base, for example. Then you have residency there. Then let's say Difaino wants to have an address in the US to receive POS for better credit score, bank credibility. You can just buy an apartment there, for example, and then you have an address there. You can just rent it out. It's easily managed, so all over the world, basically. Once these few things are covered, then you just put the rest under your foundation.
How did you experience living here in Dubai? Do you like it?
Love and hate.
Love and hate?
Same.
Yeah. I hate the fake thing about it, but I love the ugly grind.
What's the most
Just
fake?
being locked in, you know?
What's the most fake things you experienced here? For
I think
example?
people would they connect living in Dubai with having this crazy lifestyle, partying all weekend, driving crazy. Okay, we drive crazy cars, but like
we are part of the problem.
With what car did you come today?
A new car, Ferrari 812 GTS.
Nice.
Yeah, but besides that, like it's a fast lifestyle, so people always assume. But I use Dubai as just positioning myself to go all in, like locked in, just being in an ugly grind. Being around people that do way bigger and better than me. And I love that. Some people hate it, but I love that. Because if we would buy a Bugatti tomorrow, which is coming for both of us, I know that. Our neighbor has a better one.
Yes.
Or your neighbor has a better plate number. Or it's you get confronted with being a small person. And let's be real. If we would stay in Europe, you wouldn't have that. We would be the big boss. I wouldn't be driving a Ferrari there. Because I think the comfort zone is a really scary place. Because you don't grow there.
100%. So you also realize that this is giving you like a push day by day, or
100%.
100%.
I love that. I love that adrenaline rush of like, I need to do bigger, man.
Yeah.
I'm not doing shit. I'm doing nothing. And I think the plans we have aligned for the future are scary. Because just like we talked about climbing that pyramid, is what we are doing right now. Because the position we have right now and the credit opportunities we have, we are climbing the ladder. And climbing the ladder means, okay, higher up in that pyramid, now we can acquire brands. Now we can get that position of getting credit, getting more cash flow in, buy a brand, scale a brand, sell a brand. Because in the private equity, that's where the real money is. That's where the baller money is. Because we are all trying to reach that 100M, to reach that billion, that big B. And you're not going to do that by just scaling your Facebook ads.
Yeah.
That's in private equity. That's in really leveraging credit, leveraging other people's businesses and really buy, scale, sell. And in my opinion, in e-com, that's the highest level of the pyramid. But people can't reach there. And now we can with the position we created together with the credit. And the reason why I, for example, started this info product, started this mentorship, is not because of having maximizing students and just being this online guru. Hey, join my course, I will learn you how to make money online. No. It's by being in a position with a certain target audience that can be able to get to that point, or is already at that point, that we can get these private equity deals. Climb that ladder, For the beginners, we have the school community. That's $1 a day. Do your knowledge in there. It's called Embarrass the Competition. That's what we do. We embarrass. You can get a $10,000 course. The school community, $1 a day is better than that. If not, I will give you $10,000. I'm so confident in it. That's the thing. And with the mentorship we have about that, it's almost like scouting someone. It's like, you are a selection of the goal we are trying to get to that higher level of the pyramid. And there's no one that can be able to have this position like me, because I can get private equity in some random brand. But now I'm sitting straight on the shoulder of a brand owner. I can see everything in and out. I can see all the potentials. And now it makes sense for me to put equity behind it,
Often you look at something, but you only see it from the outside, and it's hard to understand, okay, why is this working so good? And then you try to copy paste it, but then it's not working. So it's just the only way is to pay someone to get a picture from the other side, right? Like in your community. So maybe you can talk a little bit more about what is this community you're building there and what's your goal with that?
Yeah, so for the mentorship, it's directly one-on-one with the team. So just like I just talked about, leveraging other people, that's what we do as well. So we can look at your brand, Samuel's brand, anyone's brand, and see directly improvements. Like, okay, that's where the weak spots are. That's where you need to stick these plasters, and that's where the leaks are. Or directly ROI-based improvements, right? And I can tell you, hey, improve your creatives, improve your email flows, improve this, your CRO or whatever. My team can do it better. That's why I really try to include my team in this, so we can do things at maximum level, at maximum capability, and then just go all in with that. Using experts, melting brains together. And coming back to that positioning, to create that position for you, let's say someone comes in at $250K a month. We have a target of 1M a month. How can we position ourselves in that way to achieve that target? What are the missing parts? We make a roadmap for you that fills out these missing parts, connecting the dots. And that's how you can get to the next level. And when you really sit on someone's shoulders, we acquired 8 brands in the last, 40 days. The play we're making here, like we are printing. And that's the only target and the goal we have with this info product, this one-on-one. It's so longevity behind this. And just like we talked about before, it's a win-win situation for everyone involved. Because you're scaling a brand, you started with us on 250K. All of a sudden, 3 months later, you have $1 million in credit to spend. Spend it on ads, spending on building the business, scale it up. And that's how you really add zeros behind numbers. I'm a step ahead. I'm the one that climbs the Mount Everest first, you know? And with the school community, obviously, that's just bringing hustlers together, family. Because this journey, like just how I started, is so unknown. There are so many question marks. And what people really underestimate, it's really lonely. Like, we are in Dubai. We can connect. We can network. I go to the gym. I meet 10 celebrities there and this and that. People are just in their mom's bedroom, one behind their laptop, having big dreams. You know how lonely it is. We host weekly calls. Everyone is in their high energy. Everyone does their push-ups, you know? You wake up, you see the chat. Hey, everyone is doing push-ups. What am I doing in my bed? Why am I sticking to this blanket still? And that community that puts you in a different environment. So that's $1. Come on, man. If you don't afford that, don't join. Like, that's just going to force you to do bigger and better. Like, you know? And that's why I think a community like that is super strong. But the one-on-one is just steroids.
Can you maybe share some stories, if you have some, of just like specifically this distinction between the long-term versus short-term attitude? So for instance, for us, like you came to us and, you know, you had this idea about, okay, like for e-com, UAE company is the best, right? First, and you had this short-term player who perhaps offered you, hey, like exactly, this is the best, you can pay like 25K, but obviously like you're not going to recommend their services to anyone because it's not the best solution that was out there. So perhaps, I mean, in the e-com space, do you see people who are, let's say, focused on this like 3-month cycle versus, let's say, thinking in the long term, thinking in the decades? Yeah.
So there's 2 major key things that are important in e-commerce. And that's 1, momentum, and 2, cash flow. Like we can make it fancy and I can have a very beautiful explanation, but cash flow is just what you need if you want to scale a brand. And that's the missing part most people have. Because when I started scaling, just scaling up the ads and don't care about anything, I didn't even know what a P&L sheet was. I didn't know about balance sheets. I had this profit calculator Shopify app. Okay, I see this green number. This is the profit. Okay, I take it out in my pocket. Still have to pay my team. Still have to pay taxes. Still have to pay this and that. But I didn't know. So cash flow is one thing that's very, very important. And the thing with momentum, being stuck in that lower level of the pyramid is where people stay for too long. They're just dropshipping, hopping on these trendy products, seeing whatever works for competitors, but they are missing this part of momentum. You read data, you see what's working, why are you not building on it? Why are you stuck doing the same figures? Climb that ladder, go higher up in the pyramid and build momentum, build a brand for the longevity, and don't just focus on first acquisition. Focus on building a community. Focus on building something you can actually show your grandparents. Hey, I just made this store. It's brand. It's cool. See, look at it. Or you want to show your parents this general dropshipping store where you're selling all these shitty products. That's not how it works. Build something for the long-term momentum, and longevity is key. That piece momentum is why most people don't scale. And when you get momentum and get that cash flow going in, what we see time and time again, that it goes so fast, scary fast. There's no business model on this planet that can go and grow so fast. We are positioned in a way to literally 10x tomorrow, you know? And the piece momentum is what people miss. For them, it doesn't make sense to even think of inventory, think of processing, banking, scale ads and just see whatever happens. Of course, you don't have momentum.
So it's sort of like you're playing the 3D chess, just seeing like way more layers than most people who are just like focused on, like you said, like this ad spend, growth, and and fuck off, not gonna think about that.
Be one step ahead.
So what's your plan for acquisitions and exits? So like, how do you find these brands? How do you recognize that it's a good brand with potential? And what's your plan for doing exits and exiting these brands?
First, you need to really understand the basics on what validates a brand, what gives it the valuation you're looking for, what's important. Just like we talked about, like you don't want to have a brand that Facebook account disabled and you're out of business. How is your organic reach? How is your name? How is even the margins on your product? What's the longevity on it? And really, like I said, focus on that. Basically, second acquisition, third acquisition, returning customer, LTV, and have a product that fits to that. That's why we are the crazy ones. We sell on subscriptions. Like you have to buy our product every single month, otherwise you wouldn't get the perceived value of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So positioned in that way and focus on longevity, a brand that fits to that. That's what fits our requirements for really exiting.
Okay, then let's go a little bit about this, go into the detail about the longevity and these issues that you can face in e-commerce, because you already said you had issues with blocked Facebook accounts or Stripe account or banking. Maybe you can mention like 1 or 2 worst situations that you ever had where you thought everything is nice, everything is working, and from one to the next second, nothing was working anymore. What were the main issues?
Losing momentum, first of all, and losing cash flow. The two main key things you need in e-com. If you lose these both, you're going to be in a deep, deep hole. And that comes back to having payment processing issues, having banking issues, not having that in the right order, not having the right backend, and just not being able to focus on building a business. And you're going to see that. You're going to feel that even. It hurts. And losing momentum by just having these issues and being unable to get back up to that. So that's the same thing when you go back to the lower level of the pyramid. You're just hopping on a wave of your competitor. You're replicating everything that already works. But how long can you sail on that wave, basically, right?
So how did you originally find winning products?
We take back, we don't really look at winning products. We look at winning emotions. So what is something that actually hurts? What is something that people really feel attached by? So let's say we take a random buying persona, let's say a woman, let's say your sister, your mom, whatever. Look at their problems. What are they facing? What are their emotions, right? One product we really skilled insane was an anti-aging product. Because you're not selling the product. Any product that will help anti-aging will sell. But you're selling the emotion of anti-aging. You're selling a younger skin to an audience that's very high emotional. Of course it will print, right? If you just have the right offer and be able to visualize and really message that pain point, that anti-aging, that emotion over, the product is just a bonus. Like it's just how crazy your offer can be and how hard you can monetize that. You're fixing a problem. You have a solution. You're making people problem aware, solution aware, product aware, off aware, and that's the funnel people go to.
This is where you can actually build a long-lasting brand, a long-lasting shop for that to use that emotion and convert it into capital at the end.
100%. I'll give you a very golden tip. I don't know if I can. This is crazy. So we have systems in place that can basically be able to get a lot of emotions and proof of concept and products in a very systematic way. So for the people at home, this might be a good tip to try out. What we do is we post job posts on Upwork, LinkedIn, Fiverr, whatever you use, and we basically hire customer service VAs. This is going to sound weird, but it's all going to make sense in a bit. So we hire customer service VAs in a particular niche, for example. You can do it broad, you can do it niche, you can do fashion VAs, beauty VAs, or home decor VA, whatever, right? We hire these VAs and we put budget behind the job post. We link a Google form against the basically job post, right? What that Google form is going to ask is, hey, list the 10 stores you've been working with in your previous basically jobs, right? If you put budget behind the job post, you're going to get hundreds of people that are going to apply on a daily basis. One Google form, we have 10,000 stores a day in literally a list. We have a VA on that just sees looks at the data, use the tracking software for that. Okay, how many visitors do they get? How many orders do they get? What are their best-selling items? Use a heat map on it. Okay, what are people looking at? What's interesting? And literally see how we can embarrass the competition from there. How can we do a better job in the offer? What's our product that makes more sense to this emotion? Or maybe can we switch the angle, for example, right? Just like before this meeting, I shared you guys an example where we basically took a product that in a totally different angle. We basically created it as a new product. It wasn't even meant to be made in that way, right? And that's how we scaled, because we were the first one to climb the mountain again. So we always one step ahead of the competition. So you have a product that has proof of concept, but how can you sell it in a more emotional way? Because you can sell water in the gym, or you can sell water at a swimming pool. It will convert in way different directions, you know?
For who is this community you're building? Who should join that? Who should be looking into that from all the people who are in e-commerce or maybe not even in e-commerce yet?
For anyone that's ready to embrace the competition. So if you see this as a side job or a side hustle or whatever, it's not for you, man. Because you need to be in that ugly grind. You need to go all into this, and you really need to see this as a full opportunity to change your life. Because this is a big market. You can print stupid amounts of money in e-commerce. And I'm not the one that's going to explain you that. We all know. And if you're here to get some side hustle or not here to embarrass the competition, look somewhere else.
So this is focused on people who are already making good money, who want to build this even bigger and really scale hard with their e-commerce.
We all have different stages of this journey, and I think that's very beautiful. We have people doing way bigger numbers than we do right now, but we also have people that are just starting out in their first week. And I think that's the beautiful part of it, because at the end of the day, we are all the same persons. We are all the same people that are inside that ugly grind and just trying to make it work. One person is doing 10 M a month, one person is doing $100 a month, but they all want to make a better life and really want to go all into this. And if you share that mindset, that's when you are at the right place. If you share that mindset of literally embarrassing the competition and just being one step ahead of everyone and be able to look at that man in the mirror and go and war against that man, then you are at the right place, because you will share the mindset with the other people.
You said you also invested a lot of money, or as soon as you started making money, you started also to invest in different coaching, mentorship, and so on. What made you back then already realize, okay, this is the next step for me now to do this?
Setting ego aside and just understanding that you need to learn to elevate. The more you know, like the more you're able to earn, right?
Do you think that's something which is stopping a lot of people, that they just have an ego which is too big?
100%. And I think that comes back in hand whatever you allow your mind to achieve. Because some people, they're trying to be the big boy at 1K a day. But if you're joining this community, you'll find out that you're not the big boy, you know? So sometimes you need to set your ego aside and just learn. Like, the more you learn, the more you earn.
Can you maybe run us through a little bit of maybe a typical day in your life nowadays? What do you do? How do you plan all this? How do you manage to grow with your business?
It's just funny because people always expect me to have this fancy morning routine, wake up early, take an ice bath, go for a run, and then just do some fancy stuff. I wake up, I take my phone, I work. That's it. My time is valuable, man. I just want to be focused on what's actually going to bring me something. And that's how I structure my way, because I'm too short in this 24 hours. I need 48 hours a day, you know? So I just focus on things that really matter. And I also really think that balance is important at the end of the day. I think that's really underrated, because obviously we talk a lot about this ugly grind, but it should be in balance.
What is balance to you?
Having controllable chaos and being stress tolerant. Now, Monday we're starting Black Friday week. I'm here sitting super chill. You should know how it looks at my business right now. It's chaos. Everyone is stressed. Every team is asking me, why are you not stressed, Difaino? I'm like, yo, what should I be stressed about? It's controllable chaos.
And when you were setting up here in Dubai 4.5 years ago, and you had this company and it didn't work basically, because at the same time I had the same issue here in Dubai. It was finally when I realized, I just built my own infrastructure because it's just too annoying for me. I arrive here, took me 1 year almost to get residency banking, and struggling with payment processing because I originally had the e-commerce stores in Europe. And then I realized, okay, it doesn't work here with Dubai. What were your next steps then?
I was just doing whatever my circle mommy was doing. So I just took a lot of word of mouth and see what other persons were using. And I was just so unknown. So at the time, even I asked for help. I wanted people around me, people that know more about this, basically utilizing experts as well. Not on steroids like I know with you guys, but still, I was so unknown. I was like, Dubai doesn't have the opportunity to open up Stripe. What is this? Like, I was so unaware. I was so unknown. And just that comes back to setting your ego aside and just learn. Like, learn it the hard way. Fall on your face.
So what were you doing after then?
I opened a few Hong Kong structures.
How did it go with Hong Kong?
I mean, you have some issues with that as well. It's an Asian company that's not a long-term or longevity-based company, in my opinion. It's not the best solution to go around it. And what I found out when we tried to exit one of our brands, try that with a Hong Kong company, that you're not going to get far. So that's when we decided to focus on US entity and really build up there, getting the ITN numbers in, building credit, building longevity. And that's possible in a place like US. Obviously, it's for every case scenario, it's different. But people are so unaware. Like, for some people, I know people that are scaling that never heard about US companies before. I'm like, what are you doing? You're falling on your face now.
So why do you think Hong Kong is more difficult? Because a lot of clients also set up a Hong Kong structure and think, Asia is a big market.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's not as good as US, for example?
I think it's a good structure to definitely build up, but I don't think it's a good structure to build momentum, to really build longevity. And I'm talking 10 years plus, because you're just missing out on other opportunities other structures might have. And I really think it's a short-term, easy, and also relatively budget-friendly option in that way. And obviously, it allows you to process payments. It allows you to scale some ads and everything. But do you really want to miss out on the opportunity of building credit, getting into private equity, really have this trust and safety around it, which Hong Kong, in my opinion, is just lacking in my opinion.
And now for Europe, do you use a US LLC or still a Europe structure?
Fully US. Europe, nothing to do with that.
Okay, it's perfect. So you think you can use the US for just everything, for the whole world?
For my case scenario, yes. But that might be different to all different types of businesses.
What about things like VAT, customer payments? Is there no issue at all? Or do you think sometimes, a Europe structure, besides of taxes, could still help me to scale more?
I think Europe structure is the worst you can have, in my opinion, especially with taxes and the things around that, because a lot of e-com guys, obviously, they are from Europe. No, I don't think Europe structure is the way, man. US structure is definitely allows us a lot more benefits, tax in that bracket as well. But I think when it comes back to nationalities and opening up new residences, you should always have the safety. At least that's what gave me safety of having my UAE structure and full-time living here. I know I have that peace of mind and I can just be safe,
It's like the natural process somehow. You think about UAE, about Hong Kong, about UK, and then after a few years, you just end up with, I'll just everything through my US LLCs.
Yeah, this one.
No comparison. Did you ever had some issue there, like taxes, like anything?
No. I had one time that I had to renew a license. I didn't know how. I wasn't aware. That's a little beginner mistake I made, but the rest, no, smooth, man.
How about payment processing and banking before? Was it more difficult than Europe and Middle East, or how was the start there?
It is more complicated because of SNN, if I say it right, SSN, so your social security number. But once you have the solution for that, it's all clean. It's all easy.
That's right. What do you think about all the people who come to us and say, hey, it's not possible. I need a Europe structure because of VAT and shipping and my clients?
It's pay tax. Good luck.
Perfect.
It's not coming out of my pocket.
Okay, just to make sure that it's not necessary at all.
Yeah.
Do you sell to the Middle East?
Not yet. But I mean, we have some orders, but I wouldn't say it's a big market for us.
What do you think are the difficulties here? Like cash on delivery, that not everybody's paying with credit cards. Is the market too small? Why do you think are most people not focusing on Middle East?
It's very local focused. So very big corporatures, how do you say that, are focused here on just selling big, like market leaders in that single way. But I definitely think it has huge potential. But I think this is a market you really need local fulfillment in, because I think when it comes to fulfillment in Middle East, it's next level. It's next level. You see it here in Dubai. It's same day fulfillment all around for all products.
Did you ever think about manufacturing and creating your own products?
Yeah, we are doing that now.
Okay.
Yeah, and that gives us crazy margins. And that comes back to embarrass the competition again, because nobody can even sell or come up with our product. You can try, but you have a lawsuit in 2 hours.
That's right. So where do you manufacture, or where do you plan to manufacture?
We have everything based in China. And funny enough, in the same city, not even on purpose, we have everything in Ningbo, China. We work with Econflow, which is one of my best friends, Daniel, has this company. And our factory is, funny enough, is in Ningbo, China. Our packaging factory is in Ningbo, China. And our 3PL is in Ningbo, China. So sometimes we order 100,000 units and it's ready within 4 days. With production, with packaging, with shipment. And I don't have to pay any import duties. I don't have to pay any expensive shipping rates because it's in the same city.
Yes.
And we are just one step ahead when it comes to that because we can basically ship worldwide.
How do you see the future? Do you have any other plans or no plans for now?
For me, personally, I change opinions every single week. But honestly,
depending
for me,
on the traffic and the people in the
Yeah.
building, you know, if they are not.
I don't know, I don't know what Dubai would look like in 3 years. Like, it could have drastically changed. It could have drastically improved. Like, they are building a lot of stuff. Dubai is not a finished product yet. Like, and people need to realize that there are a lot of imperfections, but there are also a lot of perfections. Sometimes it's just too perfect. But for me, how I look at it now, it's just ugly grind and disappear. So ugly grind, Dubai is the perfect place to really put your head down, be around good network, be around good connections, and really try to have that ugly grind in and just work your ass off for at least 5 to 10 years. When I'm set, when I'm good, I just want to disappear to some sort of beachfront living and just leave me and my wife, some dogs, some children, and just make my sons do some push-ups and just, you know, live a more relaxed lifestyle without all this noise around me and ugly grinds.
It's nice. You said you spent also some time in Thailand to focus when you had a hard period.
Yeah.
Do you think it's good for people, let's say they're just starting out with, or not even starting out, you know, maybe they make 10K revenue per month, which is like barely surviving here in Dubai.
Yeah.
Do you think it's good for these people to move to Thailand for 1 or 2 years just to focus and to be in
100%.
isolation?
100%, because it's all about energy. When I got back to Europe for the first time in 3 years, that was about 2 months ago, first thing I felt on the airport, I saw 2 things. I saw rainbow flags, and the second thing I felt was the energy. That does a lot with you as a person, with how you feel like, how you reply to, how you react to certain things, how you move, how you operate, how you grow. And the energy in places like Thailand, Bali, Spain, whatever, it's just gonna force you to grow, and I really like that.
Yeah, I also think the same. Because for me personally, Asia was even better for isolation.
Yeah.
Because you don't meet anybody, you know, and it's just perfect vibe. Europe is the worst place.
Europe is the worst place. The energy is gonna eat you.
That's right. Okay, guys, I think that's it for today. Do you have one last question, one word to say? The last 5 minutes are running.
I would say maybe, Difaino, if you could talk to the 15-year-old guy who is like in his small town, in his small village, and he just has no ability to look into the future about what's possible. If you could talk to like this 15-year-old version of yourself sitting with us here, what would you tell this guy?
Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Be the first one to climb the mountain. Don't be scared. Fear is an emotion that's fake. Fear doesn't exist. As a man, your feelings are irrelevant. Do what must be done. Put your head down. Your comfort zone is your biggest enemy. I always say no rain, no flowers, but it doesn't rain in the comfort zone. So don't be in that circle of the comfort zone. Position yourself to step out of it, right?
Okay, guys, I think then that's it for today. It's 2 hours, man. Before the guy said, 2 hours is long. I said, we can speak for 5 hours here, you know, to pick your whole brain. Yeah, it was a great podcast. I thank you, Difaino.
Most welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
And I thank you guys, the best team. And guys, if you want to learn more about how we can help you to grow and protect your wealth, then just go to wealthconsulting.com, book a call with us. And obviously, we will link all the platforms from Difaino when it comes to school, to everything else that he does. Obviously, his YouTube channel is great. It's next level.
Really, really good.
So you need to check out the YouTube.
Embarrassed competition, eh?
Yeah, we need to do some next level videos together soon. 100%. So I'm looking forward to it. And guys, see you on the call or see you in real life.